Hey everybody, this is Bill Culhane, the host of The Big Bid Theory. We're here in Waco, Texas this week. We've made the drive up hour and a half or so north of our studios in Austin. Tomorrow, here at the Waco Convention Center, we're going to try to visit with a number of people who are really great at purchasing here in the Lone Star State, in the state of Texas. So stay tuned. Again, going to be a great episode. Going to visit with a number of the all-stars in purchasing here in Texas. Don't miss it.
Hi, I'm Ashlei Lankford from the city of Forney.
So Ashlei, before you came to Waco this week to come to the TxPPA conference and expo, what were some of the goals that you had? What did you want to learn? Who did you want to see? What kind of things did you want to find out to take back to the great city of Forney?
I wanted to meet and network with vendors for the IT side, like the technology side of the department.
A lot of cities, counties, states, municipalities are making investments in technology. Obviously, once upon a time, I was involved in the tech world. There is a lot that can go into a technology type project. So what are some of the challenges as somebody who's involved in the bid RFP writing process? What are some of the challenges in getting those put together, getting those done so that they're meaningful for vendors, suppliers out there who might be bidding on those types of projects, solutions, services?
Budget is always something we have to figure out. Also, deciding what we need, what will meet everyone's needs, which things we do need, which things we don't need to make our products the best they can be for our partners.
Brag on your city a little bit.
We are growing fast. We have a lot of really great people that work at the city. So come have fun with us.
As I travel around the country and I visit with a variety of people in leadership, in purchasing, across a wide variety of states, I hear about challenges. I hear about, folks having to maybe do more with less. When you visit with people here in the great state of Texas, what are some of the things that you're hearing that government agencies, people who work in procurement, are having to work through?
Right now, the biggest issue is supply chain. Several years ago, everything was shut down, and now, people need, for instance, vehicles, and the backlog may be a year and a half, and then just little things like that, stuff that 3 or 4 years ago wasn't a big deal, but now it is a big deal, and you really need to plan ahead to purchase your stuff.
There are a lot of great things going on here in the state of Texas. I just asked you a question about what are some of the challenges. I was in Little Rock, Arkansas a few weeks ago. I'm hearing from the people in the great state of Arkansas about staffing within government agencies. I was in California a few months ago at Capo. Guess what? The people in California there were talking about how a lot of talent is retiring, moving on to other pastures. I didn't say greener pastures, but other pastures.
Yeah.
And so what about here in the state of Texas? As you visit with your peers, what are you hearing in terms of the talent pool, people leaving their roles, retiring, etc.?
That's funny you asked that question, because where I work now, in the past month, I guess we lost 2 top-level management type people, director and then the manager, and they're leaving for greener pastures, and that's also a growth of TxPPA. We got a whole bunch of older folks and younger folks, and to get them up to a level that they need to be productive and a valuable asset to their entity.
Brandi, Whittenton, City of College Station.
So everybody here in Waco this week, Brandi, a lot of learning going on, a lot of networking, a lot of friendships being reunited this week in Waco. Before you prepared to make the drive over from College Station to come to TxPPA, the conference this week, what were some of your goals?
Some of my goals were to get more people engaged in the TxPPA organization and to bring all the vendors together and get them engaged in different organizations that we have out here.
You're talking to a wide, vast audience watching this episode of The Big Bid Theory. For somebody in the state of Texas who's considering has the thought of potentially joining TxPPA, what would you say to them?
I would say come along. We have great fun. We have our next conference is in Denton, and we are really excited to bring on more members every day.
So to take you back home to College Station for a moment, Brandi, what are some of maybe the bigger challenges going on in the world of purchasing there in the great city of College Station? Well, what are some of the things that you and your team are really having to roll up your sleeves and work on right now?
So a lot of ours is getting more bids, bringing our contractors on and having them get in the bidding process as a general. We have a lot of different types of bids going out every day, and so we're really hoping to get more vendors bidding on our products.
One of the things that we've tried to do on the Big Big Ferry going back to our inception is, one, tell the story of the world of purchasing, but also we try to promote the profession as well. So if there's anybody out there right now who's maybe in a career that they aren't so happy with, maybe they're considering changing things up professionally, what would you say to somebody who was maybe considering moving into some kind of a role in government purchasing?
So every day is a new day. We always have surprises, and there's always new technology out there. So it's a great place to jump ship to.
Hi, my name is Rosie Castillo, and I'm with the City of Forney, and I'm their purchasing manager.
Rosie, before you left the city of Forney to come down here to the great city of Waco, Texas, to attend the TxPPA conference this week, as you thought about coming, what were some of the goals that you had? Who did you want to meet? What did you want to learn? What did you want to find out? What did you want to take back to the city of Forney?
When I decided to sign up for TxPPA and come this year, some of the things I had in mind were looking for new possibilities for software changes that could be implemented in our city, as well as new, get to meet new vendors. A lot of training that's offered through TxPPA in regards to legislation changes, anything that could help me on the procurement side.
So you as a purchasing manager, what are things like in the city of Forney as far as staffing goes? And as you're hiring a new person onto your staff into purchasing there in Forney, what are some of the things that you look for? Kind of a two-part question there.
Okay. Well, currently, I'm part of a bigger group. Purchasing is just one side of the finance side of the city of Forney. And currently, it's just me, a one person that's handling the purchasing department. I think what we're looking for in the future is to hire a few buyers, and continue into that purchasing role and give opportunities for others to get involved in procurement and purchasing.
Awesome. So last thing, you might have overheard me, brag on the city of Forney. If nobody has ever driven through, vacation, been to the great city of Forney, Texas, what do you want to share with people out there? There are millions of people watching and listening right now. No pressure.
I would say the city of Forney right now, it's a lot of growth that's happening. I currently live in the city of Forney, so I've seen some of that the past 13 years, that growth happening. But if you want that still small town feeling, come to Forney.
Awesome. Talk about TxPPA, the goals for this week. As you're leading this organization, what did you hope that attendees, vendors, everybody would get out of it?
So the goal for me personally was to put as much education content in front of people and give them the opportunities to take information back, both from the classroom, if you will, and the expo hall. And the other thing is to kind of get feedback from them as to what it is they want going forward. And so we've received significant amount of feedback saying, this is a great event, and this is what we'd like to see also. And so now we kind of are planning our Denton conference in November, November 8th through the 10th, right there. So we're planning that conference. And by having that conference, we're going to bring some of these thoughts and ideas into that conference through the programmatically, and the vendors are anxious to come, and I just think the Denton conference will blow this one out of the water, and this one's blowing the last one out of the water. So that's our goal. Our goal is to make it better each time.
So as you've witnessed the world of government purchasing over your career, and I know there's
Watch the years.
Year singular.
Yeah.
I joke. As you look back at your career, what are some changes that have taken place in government purchasing that you think are most memorable in your opinion?
The number one thing for me is probably the notion of using cooperative vendors, cooperative agencies who aggregate the spend, who aggregate the solicitations, so we don't have to do as much work. When I worked at the University of Texas in the 1980s, early 1980s, we had 31 people on our purchasing staff. Today, the University of Texas in Houston has 11. And the reason is because they've aggregated their commodity. They understand that they can do things differently. And so for me, the commodities and the ERS systems, and to be able to view, the co-ops and the ERP systems have made our jobs a little bit easier. And it doesn't take away from the fact that some people like me have to have this old mentality that says, I don't think that's the right thing, so I have to stop some processes and back up. But looking back, those are the two things, both the cooperatives and the ERP systems, that I think have brought us to where we are today.
One of the things that I hear, Alan, is how everybody's concerned about the talent that's leaving the purchasing world, the purchasing industry. Jobs open, FTEs unfilled. What are your opinions on that?
I totally agree. I've had two different people talk to me this week with regard to trying to fill positions in the organizations, or how is it that they can encourage the people that are in those roles to get their head off their desk. So, we understand that we feel a need in our organizations. Procurement is kind of the conduit between the vendor community and the university, or the vendor community and the city, or whoever it is, and we have to fill those needs. And what happens is that we're finding more and more people that we're hiring that only deal with this in front of them. They don't understand. So I used to work for a guy years ago who used to say, do you make a decision at your desk that impacts the university? And if you said no, you got to take the rest of the day off and then come talk to him the next morning after you bought his Starbucks coffee. Because he wanted you to go home and think about why you said no. Because every decision that we make on our desk in purchasing affects the university as a whole. Because if we tell one department, for example, oh, you can't do this, we tell everybody. Or if we're biased towards one requisitioner because that's a great friend of ours, it affects everything else. So we make decisions that cross that board. And how do you train people to get their head off their desk and understand that they have an effect across the campus, across the city, across the county? How do you teach that? And I don't know that it's all teachable. I think it's all modeled, and we have to model it for them. So I have an employee now. When I got there, she was very paper-oriented. What was in front of her is what happened. Now she sees the bigger picture, and she sees that she can make a decision on this that may help her down the line.
What makes you proud to be president of TxPPA?
The fact that we have taken this organization through COVID. I've been on the executive board through COVID, and we have wonderful attendees. We have wonderful members. We have wonderful vendor base. It's just to be a part of an organization that's goal is professional development, teaching the very basics. I taught a class with an attorney on Monday here, a 4-hour class on the very basics of buying, the very basics of doing what we do in government, from the elements of a contract to what different solicitation types are, and to be able to give that kind of information and pass that knowledge on means a lot to me. And so that's what I think TxPPA is that it's an organization where we're going to continue to provide professional development, knowledge transfer back to our team, our members and our teams.
Awesome. Alan, very well said, sir. Thanks for coming by.
All right. Thanks.
That was good stuff.